This is the ultimate Arizona itinerary. Arizona is an outdoor lover's dream with deep canyons, dramatic landscape, and a whole host of adventures where the land formations are the star of the show. Exploring Arizona is all about appreciating the wide open spaces and the way the sky lights up throughout the day, incorporating some of the state's most incredible things to see, some of which are mega famous and some of which are lesser known. This is my ideal Arizona itinerary. This itinerary begins in Sedona after leaving Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. From Phoenix to Sedona, the drive will be about 2 hours. Sedona is an artist town surrounded by beautiful rock formations with multiple hikes in the area worth checking out. Some of the more famous and beautiful ones include Devil's Bridge, Bell Rock, and Cathedral Rock. They're all pretty short, moderate hikes with a big payoff at the end. Depending on how long you have to devote to your Arizona trip, it may make sense to base yourself here for a couple of days to chill out and enjoy the vibe while doing some of the nice short hikes in the area. I did a solo trip here and I thought it was absolutely beautiful.
I didn't really know I was gonna see this here. This is so pretty. This view is amazing.
From there, you'll drive about 3 hours to Havasu Falls. Those famous baby blue falls truly are that color in real life, and if you manage to score a permit for Havasu Falls, prepare to be amazed. The permits go on sale in February usually, and you absolutely have to purchase 3 days in order to score them, so even if you don't spend all 3 days, you'll still have to pay for it. They're open almost year-round, and there's pros and cons to going at any time of year. I personally would really not want to go in the summer months because you do have to hike in and out. It's about a 10-mile hike, and you need to bring all the gear that you're going to need with you. Keep in mind that there can be some cancellations of permits throughout the year, so you can get last-minute chances to nab some of those permits. And it's not just Havasu Falls that's worth seeing. There's also Mooney Falls in the area and Beaver Falls. In the winter months, it's going to be too cold to go for a swim, but in the summer, you might see plenty of people in the water. Next, we're heading to the Grand Canyon's south rim. I can't believe I'm saying this, but grand somehow seems like an understatement while looking at the Grand Canyon. It truly is the biggest, most vast canyon I've ever laid eyes on, carved by the mighty Colorado River. Visiting an overlook is epic, but seeing it from a helicopter is a next level experience. The South Rim will be the most geographically proximate to Sedona for this itinerary, and it tends to be more breathtaking as well. With several stunning overlooks along the Desert View Drive, I headed there in the afternoon, which gave me plenty of time to stop at most of the sunsets on my way to Yavapai Point. I highly recommend stopping at the less popular, lesser-known overlooks on your way because they're often even more spectacular than their more popular counterpoints. There's some really great hiking that you can do in Grand Canyon National Park, and some of them even take you all the way down to the Colorado River. You do need a permit for a lot of these, but the nice thing about the Grand Canyon is a lot of it is just roadside pull-offs and you don't have to do a whole lot of hiking, so a lot of it can be quite accessible or easier if you don't have the ability to go on longer hikes. Next is Horseshoe Bend. Heading north towards Page is where you can see some of Arizona's most famous spots. Surely you've seen photos of Horseshoe Bend with its pleasing symmetry, and this is one of my favorite spots for sunset photos in the area. This one is super easy to get to with a parking lot right near the overlook. It's only about a 10-mile walk from the parking lot to the overlook itself. There are no railings, so be careful on the edges and get there early if you want a good spot for sunset photography. Also, do not miss Antelope Canyon in the Page area. Arguably the most famous slot canyon in the world, Antelope Canyon truly is mesmerizing. This one is located on Navajo land, and in order to access these slot canyons, you'll need to join a tour. During popular times of year, May through September, it's imperative to book ahead of time if you want to be there for primetime light beams. For my fellow photographers, that's usually at some point during midday, and you'll probably notice that these tours are priced a bit higher. There are actually 2 Antelope Canyons. Upper is a bit more famous and can be narrower, and lower is a bit wider and there are stairs to access it. Next, the Wave and White Pocket. Like Havasu Falls, the Wave is incredible to see in person from what I hear, though I've never had the pleasure. The permitting process is so competitive. There are 2 ways to get permits for the Wave. You can show up in Kanab, Utah the day before you wish to go, or you can try your luck with the online system 4 months before you wish to go. Permits are reserved half and half between the 2. The only downside is you have to pay for the permit application online whether you get approved or not. From what I hear, it's totally worth the hype, and I hope that one day I get to check it out. But I also recommend going to White Pocket if you can't get permits for the Wave. It's about an hour and 15-minute drive to White Pocket. Be sure that you have a 4-wheel drive vehicle for this and some experience driving in sand. Otherwise, there's plenty of people who can give you a tour of the area and will drive you there and back.
Probably one of the still secret places that we like to go that most people do not know about.
White Pocket is totally different than the Wave, but it's not too much farther away and you might just get lucky and be the only one there. You'll see wave-like rock formations and white rocks that look like turtle shells. Perhaps what's more amazing is the way the sun moves throughout the day, completely changing the colors and the way the rocks look. The jury is out on how this was actually formed with several different theories, but one thing's for sure, there is nothing quite like White Pocket in the world.
Wow, this is an awesome alternative to the Wave. Thanks for the idea.
You're welcome.
That's great. I can see why you like it out here so much.
Next is the drive to Monument Valley. When you venture into Monument Valley, which shares a border with southern Utah and is located near Mexican Hat, it'll be obvious how the area got its name. The rock formations seem to appear out of nowhere, and indeed many are hat-shaped. Monument Valley is located on a Navajo reservation, as are many of the suggestions on this list. To get in, you'll need to pay an entrance fee and take a tour, which you can do just by showing up, or you can do a sunset tour with a Navajo guide. Give this a few hours so that you can fully enjoy Monument Valley's rock formations. Next is Canyon de Chelly, which is spelled like Canyon de Chelly, and we definitely kept calling it the wrong name while we were there. This is a worthy detour from Monument Valley to Page. Canyon de Chelly receives far fewer visitors and was nearly devoid of other tourists when I visited in February. It's a national monument that is also located on a reservation, and in order to hike to most of it, you're going to need a local guide. However, the Spider Rock Overlook, which is the park's most famous attribute, is accessible without a guide. If you have time and it's not the middle of summer, which would be too hot, there are multi-day guided hikes throughout the canyon. Finally, on your way back to Phoenix, why not check out the Petrified Forest National Park and the Painted Desert for fossils, badlands, buttes, ancient petroglyphs, and some points of year wildflowers. Much of this park can be seen from overlooks, although there are some backcountry trails that at cooler times of year would be worth checking out. From the Painted Desert, you can drive about 4 hours back into Phoenix or take a detour and drive 5 hours to Tucson. If you want to extend your trip a couple of days, make it a full 2 weeks, Tucson is the ideal spot to round it out. This historic and cultural city is an incredible place to get some much-needed R&R before you head home, and there's plenty to do if you're still looking for adventure. Those are my personal highlights of Arizona, but it's a huge state full of national forests and even more national monuments and deserts. The good news is it's all amazing, and you really can't go wrong.